Today is an exciting one because I finally get to do something with this vlog that I have always wanted to do. See, I want this channel to be a resource, a reference for people who want to do music as their career, as a freelance musician, full-time, making their living. And I know that my recipe is only one way of doing it. It's limited. So today I get to introduce you to someone who I admire a lot, a fellow musician on the scene. He's in my band Mosaic, and he does the same thing, but he does it in a different way. And so what we're gonna get to learn about today is his recipe for being a freelance musician, specifically how he came onto the Tampa Bay music scene and quickly became one of the most in-demand players on the scene. So this is definitely something I'm excited to be able to share with you, but first, I gotta go practice a little bit because I'm playing a Louis Armstrong concert with him tonight. Just by the way, this isn't my car. My car is in the shop and this is a rental from Ford. It's a really nice car and it's also not my car. I miss my car. It doesn't normally look like this, but here's what my studio looks like right now. I just got done putting new heads on my drums, and I'm also working on some solutions for making it a little more aesthetically pleasing. When I first got here, this was all just metal walls like this you see here. And you can hear, not good for recording. So my solution was to put these heavy blankets that you see all around the room. That was my solution, and it worked really well for working on the sound, but it doesn't look good, and I want this space to look good. I want to walk into this space and love being here, and truthfully, that's not really the case right now. So I'm in the middle of coming up with a solution for that, but for now, I just need to practice the drums. Say I got sufficient work done on that. Then I head over to Plant City High School, which is about 30 minutes of a drive away, where I'm gonna teach drumline. You'll get to see a little bit of that too. You're getting everything today. Look at you, getting everything. The band director here and I go way far back. He was actually my band director my sophomore and junior year of high school, and he introduced us to some really fantastic music, so I owe him a lot. But not only that, he also gave me my first job at Suggs High School, where I also teach drumline and marching percussion there. And so he gave me a lot of important opportunities that allowed me to connect with the music education community in Tampa. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to come here and teach his percussion kids here, because it kind of brings it full circle for me. It's really cool. The gig tonight is at the Lake Wales Performing Arts Center, and it's about 53 minutes away from where I am right now. So I'll be able to get there, get settled, take a little video of it, and then we'll see what happens after that.
So where do we go in? This way? Or?
I was told to go like right up the ramp, right into the front. Okay. Maybe that door is open. Is this the door I'm supposed to go in?
Like the very front.
Okay, sweet. Yes. Okay, great. Because that one has a ramp.
If you wanted to use the stairs, come up here. All right.
Yeah, ramp all day. This place is really cool. I got my drum set up now, but I want to give you guys a view of this place because it's really, really fantastic. Check this out.
Now let's talk about James Suggs. He's played the trumpet for at least 2 or 3 weeks. He's been playing since he was 16. He was touring the United States, Europe, South America. So if you could all silence your cell phones, don't forget the cash bar, and a round of applause for James Suggs and the sextet.
I'm loving this already. I get to hang out with you.
So guys, I'm glad to introduce you to James Suggs. We just played a really cool first... Hey, what's up, Steve?
Hey.
We just played a really cool first set, and so I just wanted to make sure you guys got an opportunity to get to know James a little bit. You moved from Ohio, right?
I moved, well, actually, I'm from Ohio. I went to high school and college in Ohio. And then I did a lot of jobs and cruise ships and whatnot. And then I ended up in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for 8 years, and then I moved to Florida.
Gotcha. So from Argentina
From
to
Argentina,
Florida.
yep.
And you moved to St. Petersburg, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So what was your procedure for getting on the scene? Because that's kind of like a fear that people have. Like, you move, and then what do you do? Like, you start with no income.
Yeah.
What do you do?
And the thing is, when you're coming from another scene, it's easy to be like, all right, I'll just maybe let a few people know I'm here, and then wait for the phone to ring. And that's like the exact opposite of what we should do. Whenever I go, I've moved around a lot to different cities, and every time when I get there, I go out to the jam sessions. I find out where every single jam session, even if I don't like it, even if I don't like the musicians or the music or the place, I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get my business cards. I change my number wherever, new number, new address, whatever, and I start all over. And it's a really humbling process, because it's like, man, I built up so much in this last city, and I have to start all over. But it's been working for me in the past. That's like the honest truth.
Well, it definitely has, because it seems like you're a first call for a lot of people. Do you have any ideas for what has, because people were introduced to you, of course, and they heard you're playing, but what has kept you working so consistently since you've been here? You've been here for how long now?
It's been 4 years, a little over 4 years. So, and I've been nonstop moving my feet, I think one thing that I try to tell other trumpet players, at least, and I guess it's for all musicians, is that we need to be able to say yes to any gig, as long as it's a good gig, it's worthwhile. If they call me for a classical gig, I'm not going to play it as good as I would a jazz gig, but I will say yes to that classical gig, and I will practice to try to do it right. If they call me for a salsa gig or a polka gig or a R&B, so that means listening to all that music. That means being open, and then being professional and being a nice guy, and putting a smile on your face even though you've had a bad day. Or, I think they sound simple, but I think we forget. We get caught up in I want it now, and it's a long process sometimes. So we have to be patient.
So what all are you up to right now? You just got your master's degree at the University of South Florida. And obviously you're playing all the time. What all are you up to? What are you doing?
I graduated, I got my master's, and then they offered me adjunct position teaching jazz trumpet and running some ensembles there, which is great. So I'm already in the area. I can already just, kind of add that to what I'm doing. And I also recorded my first album under my name.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and it was crazy. It's for Arbors Records, and it has an awesome lineup. Houston Person on sax, Lafayette Harris piano, Lewis Nash drums, and Peter Washington bass. And yeah, so
And you. Yeah.
I'm last. That is. But it was cool. It was like an old session, that Houston's 84. So he, and he's a legend, a living legend. And he's recorded millions of recordings. So he wanted, we got together and he was like, you know what we should do? Let's do like an old school session. Let's just go in, have a quick rehearsal, but just play from the heart and play tunes. And so that's what we did. It was quick and it was amazing.
So that's an interesting, how did that opportunity come up?
Yeah, that's the same thing, being ready at all times, always being ready. So basically that came up. Rachel Dahmer, who is the CEO of Arbors Records, based out of Clearwater. I didn't know her, but she had been little by little hearing my name on the scene, and so she started to come out to these shows. And after one show, she pushed her way through politely, because she's a sweet lady, to the green room and said, "Hey, this is my card. I want to record you." And yeah. And I didn't know anything
Not bad.
I didn't know anything about her. I didn't know what that entailed. Or, what does that mean? I don't know. All right, but I said yes, sure. I'll take your card and we will be in touch. And then I found out what she was really offering. I was like, of course I'll do it. So, yeah, that's how that came about.
So, now that you're about to have an album come out, what's next? What are your next professional hopes? I guess I would say. Is there something that you would like to do next that's exciting?
I just want to improve. I think that's number one. I want to get better. I just want to, I never want to. I felt that in Argentina, not because of Argentina, just because I kind of got to a point where I leveled off and I was comfortable, a little too comfortable. I was making good money. I was touring, sounds great, but it started to eat away at me because I wasn't improving my trumpet playing or as a human being. I was just stagnant. And so I kind of shook myself up. I said, all right, I gotta make something happen. So that's like a fear of mine now. I never want to get back to being stagnant. I want to keep growing. And I think that means, obviously practicing and trying to do more demanding shows and play with, people that will push me. But also, with this album, I'd like to see how far I can do, go with that. Playing in festivals or,
You got to travel, man. You got to do it.
Exactly.
You got to do it. It's
like a little tour. I don't want to be gone forever, but a little tour, I would love to do that with my album and, selling it at the shows and just see how far this experience can take me. And then the next step is doing another album.
Yeah. You got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Very cool. Let's see. I had one more for you. Oh, here it is. So as freelance musicians, often, we hear we get discouragement often from people who don't understand exactly what we do. Even at shows, when we're at shows where people have paid to come see us, we get discouragement about what we do. How do you handle that? What's your procedure for handling that?
I think my go-to is just to keep my mouth shut and nod and say, okay, and not get into it, because you're obviously dealing with someone that doesn't, maybe they're right, maybe I did mess up, but they don't have the right to tell me that. So I'm not going to get into it. They obviously don't realize that they don't have the right to tell me that. They feel they have the right. So I'm not going to get into it. That's a long conversation with someone I don't even want to talk to. So I just, I let it slide. And sometimes I do take it to heart, but in a good way. I try. If they say, you didn't play that well, or a big common thing is, oh, you're a musician, but what do you do for work? How do you make money? And that's where I step up and I kind of puff my chest. And I'm like, well, actually, I am making money, you know. And I've been in situations where it was rough, and that just makes me want to run out and get more gigs, you know, and go back to square one, and you know, not let my ego get in the way of that, you know. So yeah, those people, we're gonna deal with them for the rest of our lives.
Always, for sure.
So we have to. The sooner we realize that, the better we'll be. We'll be. So.
Yeah, I've learned to like welcome the challenge. Like, you think I can't do this?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you
exactly.
give me a couple months.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk again. Let's talk again.
I love that. I love proving them wrong. I love, but you know, in a nice way.
Yeah.
Because and you know, burning bridges, I think, is the worst thing you can do as you know, in our profession. I mean, even if you just can't stand a person, you cannot burn that bridge, because you never know.
You never know.
And I'm not saying dealing with stuff you shouldn't be dealing with, you know, but you have to, you know, that's part of our job.
Part of our job, yeah. It's working with people.
Yep.
There's a lot of people stuff that has nothing to do with, you know, getting your embouchure right or holding your stick the right way.
Exactly. Yep.
Very cool. Thanks so much, man. I
pleasure, man.
appreciate you doing this. I hope y'all got some good stuff from this. This is a really fantastic guy. I admire him a lot, and I've learned a lot from him, and I love being able to play next to him. So I'll get y'all a little bit of the second set here in a moment. We're about to go back on. But y'all check that out. Learn something from James. He's a really wonderful guy. See y'all later.